9, we're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocanaey. Tonight, as a Catholic community around the world mourn the passing of 88-year-old Pope Francis, there are also preparations underway to select a successor. We'll seek an understanding of the processes leading to the selection of the next Pope and who are the persons who have been tipped to, as it were, be considered and eventually selected. Well, the war on illegal mining, as the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofiboa, has indicated, the latest move is the revocation of the mining licenses of Akonta Mining Company over allegations of illegal mining and direct investigations in the matter relating to the involvement of Akonta Mining in some alleged activities of criminality. Stay with us. We'll get into it here on Ghana Tonight. A proliferation of small arms and light weapons, particularly as we're seeing in the northern part of the country, that's raising security concerns in Ghana, threatening the peace and stability of the country. We'll delve into it. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has exposed what he describes as a well-organized criminal syndicate operating under the name of Akonta Mining Company Limited. Emmanuel Amakofiboa said, although the company was legally granted a lease to mine off reserve, the company illegally invaded protected forest reserves in Samreboy enclave of the Western North region, selling access to the Aboy Forest Reserve for 300,000 Ghana cedis per concession.
This company has not only trespassed into protected reserves, but has become a criminal syndicate, selling access of the Aboy Forest Reserve to illegal miners for a staggering 300,000 Ghana cedi per concession. Worse, these illegal miners operate under Akonta's protection, devastating the river tunnel and surrounding forests with impunity. They have encroached compartments 49, compartment 121 of the Tanom Nimri Forest Reserve.
The Ghana Armed Forces, GAF, in its efforts to assist the civil authorities to maintain law and order in Boku and its environs, has intensified operations in response to ongoing clashes and intermittent gunfire in the area. According to the Ghana Armed Forces, there were sporadic gunshots from the Binduri Central Market area in the early hours of Monday, 21st April 2025. Causing the deployment of troops who swiftly moved to the location and cordoned off the area. The Vatican confirmed that the cause of death was a stroke followed by an irreversible heart failure. As stated in the official death certificate released by the Vatican doctor Andrea Arcangeli, his death was announced by Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Camerlengo of the Holy Roman Church, in a broadcast by Vatican media. The announcement marked the beginning of the traditional papal interregnum, a period of mourning and preparation for the election of a new pope. Pope Francis, born Hog Mario Bergoglio, served as the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church since his election on March 13, 2013. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Ghana has called on all bishops, priests, religious and members across the country to unite in prayer and offer masses and moments of silence for the soul of their pontiff, Pope Francis. In a press statement issued and signed by the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, the Bishops' Conference also announced a scheduled National Memorial Mass at a later date in coordination. Archbishop Henryk Jagodzinski, the Apostolic Nuncio to Ghana. Many patients battling cancer are bearing the brunt of the frequent breakdown of the radiotherapy machines at the country's two major cancer treatment centers, the Kolebu and Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. The situation has delayed many patients from accessing life-saving radiotherapy treatment.
I had my surgery in August, and until now, I have not had radiotherapy. And from what I've read and what I've heard from oncologists, radiotherapy should be done at most within 6 months. I'm in my 8th month, and I have not had radiotherapy yet. Not because I'm not ready for it, but the machine keeps breaking down at Kolebu. And Komfo-Anokye too happens to be the same. So here I am, willing to fight, but the system is not helping me.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, war on illegal mining continues as the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofeboa, revokes the mining license of Akonta Mining Company over allegations of their illegal mining, and also directs an investigation into the operations of Akonta Mining. Well, we have details for you. Well, there are many who are saying that this particular move is long overdue, probably should have happened earlier. But then again, what exactly are the state, is the state doing, and what's the state of affairs as we speak, and what are the issues at stake right now? That's what we're going to get into, because at the mention of Akonta Mining, certainly the name that comes into mind is the owner of Akonta Mining, the Ashanti Regional Chair of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Ntwi-Boesiakon, now popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. Now, this name of this company is not new when it comes to matters of illegal mining, and then also its attendant effect. And I'll tell you why. But today, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofeboa, has exposed what he describes as a well-organized crime syndicate operating under the name of Akonta Mining Company Limited. Now, Emmanuel Amakofeboa said although the company was legally granted a lease to mine off-reserve, the company illegally invaded protected forest reserves in Samreboy enclave of the Western North region, selling access to the Aboy Forest Reserve for 300,000 cedis per concession. This is the minister earlier today at the press conference. Take a look.
Sorry. As you may recall, in our previous engulfment, I stated that under the leadership of His Excellency President John Mahama, we remain unwavering in our commitment to eradicate the scourge of illegal mining, an environmental sin against humanity and against God. We promise to carry the good people of Ghana along with these periodic updates. And today I'm here to provide key developments in this fight. One of the most egregious cases we have uncovered involves Akonta Mining Company Limited, a company legally registered and granted a government lease to mine responsibly off reserve outside the forest. The company, however, does not possess an entry permit into the forest reserve of the Samreboy enclave of the Western North region. Yet, investigations reveal that Akonta Mining has flagrantly abuse this lease. In August, as you recall, in August 2022, the Forestry Commission, with the assistance of the Ghana Police, made some arrests of persons associated with Akonta mining, encroaching on the forest reserves, specifically Compact 161. The docket was supposedly transferred to Accra for further action, and yet nothing was heard of it. This company has not only trespassed into protected reserves, but has become a criminal syndicate, selling access of the Aboe Forest Reserve to illegal miners for a staggering 300,000 Ghana cedi per concession. Worse, these illegal miners operate under Akonta's protection, devastating the river tunnel and surrounding forests with impunity. They have encroached compartments 49, compartment 121 of the Tanom Nimri Forest Reserve. We gathered a team of investigators to go undercover to make inquiries about the details of these operations. Our undercover team uncovered the well-oiled machinery of destruction.
And I mentioned to you that that's the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. I mentioned to you earlier that this is not the first time that this particular company, Akonta Mining, has come up for mention about the reported association with some illegal mining activities. If you recall, sometime in August 2022, the Forestry Commission officials plus some security personnel arrested some persons, specifically in the Tanom Nimri forest, and their reported association with Akonta Mining at the time. That was in August 2022. You heard the minister make mention of that particular docket, which we understand they transferred the said docket on the Akonta Mining case to the Greater Accra region. From then till now, not much has been heard. Some CSOs petitioned the CID of the Ghana Police Service on this same Akonta Mining matter. It's been quite a while now. There hasn't been any update as we speak. One of the representatives of this CSO is going to be joining us in a bit to have a conversation on the latest development. But if you recall, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, during the 28th National and 16th Biennial Congress of the National Union of Ghana Catholic Diocesan Priest Association in Koforidua, indicated that Akonta Mining, as of the time, was not involved in any illegality. This is what former President Akufo-Addo said, which generated a lot of backlash as well. Take a look.
To the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Further, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has, through the agency of the Forestry Commission, with the assistance of the military, made the effort to cordon off all 294 sites of forest reserves in the country and rid them of illegal mining as we speak. We will continue to work to ensure that this situation remains permanent. This government is determined to win the fight against galamsey, no matter the cost in effort.
Former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo there. Now, prior to this statement, which was made in January, what you just watched was a statement made in January 2023. Prior to that, in September 2022, the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Jenapo, had issued a statement specifically on Akonta Mining because he had then visited the forest reserve that Akonta Mining was reported to be engaged in mining there without license. This is Jenapo's statement in September 2022, specifically on Akonta Mining. Take a look at this. And we were doing this recall so you understand how all these matters have transpired over the period, and also specific instances relating to Akonta Mining and where we are now. This was 30th September 2022. Minister directs Forestry Commission to halt Akonta Mining Limited's operations in the Tano and the Nimeri Forest Reserve. The attention of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources has been drawn to publications about certain operations by Akonta Mining in the Tano and the Nimeri Forest Reserve in the Menfi West municipality in the Western region. Records available to the ministry at the time in 2022 shows that while Akonta Mining has a mining license to undertake mining operations in some parts of Samreboy, and bear in mind, Samreboy again was mentioned by this minister today. Emmanuel Makofibua mentioned Samreboy. Outside the forest reserve, the company has no mineral right to undertake any mining operations in the Tano and Nimeri forest. Our records show that Akonta Mining Limited on the 25th of August 2022 applied for a mining lease to undertake mining operations in the said forest reserve. By a ministerial directive, all reconnaissance, prospecting and/or exploratory activities in forest reserves in the country are suspended except in exceptional circumstances, although this directive does not affect mining in forest reserves. Akonta Mining Limited's application has not been determined. Accordingly, any alleged activity being undertaken by the company in the forest reserve is illegal. This was by Samuel Jinapo sometime in September 2022. Specific to the activities of Akonta Mining in the Tano and the Nimeri forest, he described it as an illegality if there was anything of the sort going on. And it continues. The Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has therefore directed the Forestry Commission to forthwith ensure that the company does not have access to the Tano and the Nimeri forest. So then, how is it that if this directive by Samuel Jinapo is anything to go by, in September 2022, the Forestry Commission was directed to ensure that the company does not carry out any operation in the said Tano and Nimeri forest, and you hear the minister today, Emmanuel Makofibua, saying today that the company, according to their swoop and the operations, are reported to even be doing said operations that they were barred from as of Friday, Good Friday, when they did that operation. But the special prosecutor was also petitioned on this Akonta Mining company and their operations. Take a look at this. This is the half-year report of the special prosecutor, specifically ending the 31st of December 2024. It captured under ongoing investigation. Illegal mining investigation is ongoing in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses regarding illegal mining, referred to as Galamsey. The investigation targets the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Forestry Commission. It also targets the activities and expenditure of dissolved the Interministerial Committee on Legal Mining, that's Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng's committee, especially in respect of the seizure and management of excavators, machinery, road vehicles, and gold nuggets. We still haven't gotten any answers to the said 500 excavators that are reported to have gotten missing. Well, the special prosecutor was petitioned on that. We don't have any details as yet. The investigation further targets the activities of Akonta Mining Limited and other companies, nationals of foreign countries allegedly involved in illegal mining. So this is also captured in the special prosecutor's half-year report. There's no conclusion on that investigation as yet. But here's what the minister says that Akonta Mining is alleged to have been involved in, per the minister's account today. Encroachment of compartments 49, 121, 161 of the protected forest reserves in Samreboy, mining without license in Samreboy Forest Reserve, criminal syndicate selling access to their boy forest to illegal miners for 300,000 cedis, weekly royalties of 250 grams of gold, Minerals Commission to revoke lease of Akonta Mining, that's one of the actions, immediate interdiction of Forest Commission officials involved, Attorney General briefed and taking over investigation for further action. Now, this is what's happening right now with respect to the Akonta Mining. Senor Hosik is one of the conveners for the One Ghana movement. They are also part of the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining, who together with Martin Pebo and also Edem Senanu, all petitioned the CID and the Speaker of Parliament on this Akonta mining matter. He's joining us on Zoom right now. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alfred.
Now, I did the recall of events so that our viewers will follow every step of the way, the history regarding this company and what you have done. And hearing that the minister, the current minister, referenced the activities of this company in the same forest reserve that in 2022, the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources had indicated that the Forestry Commission should not give them access. What does that tell you?
It tells you of a total system failure. I mean, I have been trying to refrain myself, but I think it's quite a disaster. And Nana Akufo-Addo, wherever he should have very deep regrets about his governance of this country relative to this particular matter. I mean, how do you have all these facts before you and come and boldly say before priests that Akonta mining was not involved in illegal mining? Your own minister had come out and clearly stated that the activities were illegal. They did not really have a permit to do what they were doing. There were clear reports of they acting close to the rivers. Today we have seen the devastation that the activities, I mean, as per the report, clearly shows or suggests that Akonta mining has been doing. But I think Akonta mining is just one of many. So I would rather commend the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources and Nana Akufo-Addo and his team for one, carrying us along as a people, letting us know exactly what's going on, what the state of affairs is, and then also taking the steps to really cure this or try and bring the people to book. But you see, all this does not happen in space. How is it that we had a Minerals Commission in place? We had mine inspectors who are giving Akonta mining some kind of lease. And if I'm not mistaken, they have permits over other places. But their clear activity, you know, is illegal in other places. And you don't find a reason to take proper regulatory action against them. I'm so sorry, but Mr. Yisi must definitely have a lot of questions to answer. And not just him. The DC of that area, the RECSEC of that area, the Forestry Commission head of that area, and the entire crew who were there all this while have questions to answer. If we don't deal with the systemic failures, all right, we will not cure this problem because people profit from this. People actually just lead this country astray, plunge us into disaster, plunge us into pillage and destruction. And then all we just do is announce it and move on. We cannot continue announcing anything and moving on. We need to save this country. Today's video was really heartbreaking. I was surprised when the minister, you know, got a bit emotional around it. As a matter of fact, I got a chance to preview it, and it was the same reaction I actually got from him. It's an unfortunate situation. How can we destroy our environment, destroy our own waters, and turn around and say we want to be political leaders in this country?
But
we want to be chairpersons of serious political parties.
But it gets more concerning that one thing the minister said is that
it's a shame, Nanado. It's a shame. The MPP should bow its head in shame. But more importantly, it should be a wake-up call for the MPP to reinvent itself for proper constructive impact and place in this country. You supervise this. And if it's Akonta mining and the reports we are getting is right, this is the chairman of one of your major regions. I beg you in the name of God, how we explain this?
Well,
if we are all saying that this Galamsey thing is bad, I expect NDC people to start calling out their own people. I expect MPP to start calling out their own people. Then we know that these people who want to lead this country have a love or some sense of passion for our country.
Well,
I'm happy to see what we've seen today. I also want to hear same over other people who are also active in the current ruling government.
Well, on that particular approach, and I was just saying that this matter, as we understand, has been referred to the Attorney General for further investigation. But then again, the other worry that we got to know from the minister is that there was collusion between forestry officers, security personnel, and then also officials of the said company. I mean, how bad could that have gotten?
I told you, this is a whole system and structural failure. And I don't think that the Minerals Commission would also be absorbed because mine inspectors have a certain route back to the Minerals Commission. So for me, we must institute a public inquiry to understand the structural and institutional failures and identify the particular persons responsible, make their faces public, call them out and punish them. Because what is at stake, Alfred, is our lives. It's the future of our children and our children's children. What is at stake is the livelihood of people who live in that community, their ability to fend for themselves. What is at stake are the waters that you and I would have to depend on. Why? I mean, how stupid can we be? In all honesty, we cannot continue this way, and we must be honest and blunt about what is happening. I'm happy about the investigation. I can't just be looking. How did the people get there? The people did not fly into the place. The excavators did not fly into the place. The place is guarded by Forestry Commission officers. You have concessions granted by a Minerals Commission, and there are workers that you and I will use our taxpayers' money to pay to avoid these occurrences or to give us any warning so that we take action. Then we have this thing continue, and then a president who comes out and says that nothing is going on. No, don't go and drink that water. Let your children go and drink that water. Let your grandchildren go and drink that water. And when you think about it, you see whether you've led us right. And if that is him, and today we are talking about him that way, the question is, the government today, they want us to talk about them that way. They should continue. But I'm happy with this positive move. But anybody in their government who is party to this must take action, must be exposed.
But you see, the other bit is you keep talking about the political class and the political will to have all persons, either in this administration or previous, exposed. You petitioned the CID, I'm talking about yourself and a few others, sometime over a year ago. Have you heard anything? Because the systems and structures that you call upon to work, you have tested those systems and structures. What's the latest on that particular petition to the CID?
We've not been privileged with a response to date. All we were told was that it had been moved to the CID. We went to the CID and it's been stuck to date. Who is going to take action? How can a minister at the time say that something was going illegal and the government of the time did not find responsibility to look into it and to make sure we address and hold those who facilitated the illegality, the pillage, the destruction of our environment, the destruction and pollution of our waters? Nobody's been held accountable because of political protection. This country cannot continue this way. The mandate for politics is for politicians to take care of us and to optimize the well-being of our people in a sustainable manner. Have they done that? They haven't. So that's something that as we've had this interrogation, this investigation go on, and we've actually had these revelations come out, the government of the day must establish an inquiry, a public inquiry, to understand why and how all that happened. You had early warning signals way back from 2022. Did we have to wait for this worst to happen? Absolutely not. So why did it happen? If you don't cure that matter, we'll just be engaging in press conferences, just scoring points. but will not deal with things at the root cause. How did it happen? Maincom, Mr. AC or Dr. Isabodi, what title he carries, whatever it is, his name is Anaisi. He should come and answer what happened. He should come and expose his people in there. The Forestry Commission, the former head, should be brought in. You and I were on the show this last Saturday. I've been warning crime. How come is it that when we just change the head of the place, all of a sudden, Abiwani Kramata comes up, and a town which was never on the map of Ghana, officially not captured. How did it suddenly get captured that we took the intervention that we drove at the time to actually bring this kind of state capture to a halt at Abiwani crime and Jerusalem? You know, there's something about leadership.
Okay.
The truth is, it's not only politicians who are in this, but it is the politicians we have empowered with our political mandates, with our vote of confidence, for them to exercise that power, administer over the resources that belong to us, the people, to try and protect and defend the cause and good name of Ghana. What are we doing? Alfred, are you not heartbroken by the things you see?
Well, it's to say the least. Heartbreak is just to say the least of it, because as again, then again, we are all exposed to. We're all exposed. So hold on. We're all exposed to the existential threats that we are faced with. In fact, we've got some videos of this Tano-Nimiri forest, and we just want to show a bit of it. This was originally shot by Erastus Arsari Donko, but let's take a look at this, of what the level of devastation that we're talking about in this said Tano-Nimiri forest, and why this should be of major concern to all of us and the way forward. And Senor, you were mentioning a couple of things, and in a minute, after these press conferences that we're seeing and the updates, which the minister indicated they want to carry us every step of the way going forward, what are the visible signs you want to see so that all of us would be convinced that this fight against illegal mining is not one that is just targeted at a particular site, and then those reports of other things also happening may have just been forgotten or a blind eye turned to it? What, from the CSO's perspective, do you want to see, especially from the minister, going forward in this fight against illegal mining? In a minute.
One, an immediate repeal of the LI, and we've discussed it extensively. We have to look at the forest reserves. We don't want anybody there. By the water, we don't want anybody there. We must introduce the state of emergency. We are not asking for a state of emergency across Ghana. In those zones where we cannot continue to have mining, so we can go in there and clean up the place properly and reset our forests and our water bodies. That must happen immediately. We must put in a monitoring and evaluation scheme. On a monthly basis, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, as well as the Ministry for Environment, would have to publish for us the water quality data across all our major rivers that are heavily polluted currently. A swift arrest and prosecution of all these corporates that we find. And in that respect, we actually need more special courts that just focus on illegal mining. We need to get that done. And then we have to now also hold officers accountable, officers of the past who are accountable in facilitating the occurrences that we see today. And on that note, I honestly believe that the Minerals Commission boss, who is responsible for the approval of most of these permits or these leases, whatever it is that he played a role in, he has to respectfully step aside. Let the proper investigation be held. If he is clean, he should come. We welcome him. And not just him. We have to go back for every single person who was critically involved. If we don't put in accountability management systems, my brother will speak English and come back again. If people realize that we come back for you for not exercising your duty well, the people today will know that if they don't exercise their duty well, we will come for them. There is no sense in keeping all these people in their offices. I don't hate anybody. I just say we must hold people properly to account. You can't be part. Today, I have to be honest, I was quite disappointed at the press conference. You know, the posting of the Minerals Commission post was not helpful. I didn't see him owning the process and trying to support or even address some of the issues.
Right.
I don't know what's going on. I need to see energy. I need to see passion towards what we are seeing. But whoever is responsible, if it is his people, bring them out. Forestry Commission, bring them out. Police, bring them out. Army, bring them out. And let's hold everybody accountable.
Well, Senor, appreciate you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Thank you very much. But then again, we'll follow every step of the way on the status of your petition to the CID on this matter. If there's any other updates, kindly let us know. Thank you for joining us. Senor Jose is the convener for the One Ghana movement, one of the CSOs that petitioned the CID of the Ghana Police Service, together with also Edem Sinano and also Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner, and with the CDD as well, all petitioning the CID on this particular matter of Akonta mining. We'll wait to see what the outcome of that petition will be going forward. But coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, as the Catholic community around the world mourns the passing of 88-year-old Pope Francis, there are also preparations underway to select a successor. We seek an understanding of the processes leading to the selection of the next Pope and who has been tipped or which persons are being considered in the scheme of things. Already there's the pitching and the proposals of persons who are probably going to be considered for the next Pope going forward. But then again, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Ghana today called on all bishops, priests, religious and members across the country to unite in prayer and offer masses and moments of silence for the soul of their Pontiff Pope Francis. In a press statement issued earlier today, signed by the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, the Bishops' Conference also announced a series of activities to be undertaken in the coming days. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi is president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference. Is joining us on the telephone right now. Most Reverend Jemfi, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me.
It's a day of great loss for the Catholic community, and indeed the Christendom at large, and all the measures that you have aligned today. Our condolences to you is in order, but your hope is that the Pope is resting in everlasting peace, is it not?
Yes, it's actually a day of sorrow, but based on our faith in the resurrection, and also exactly on the day that the Lord has called the Pope, is very significant. So that gives us hope and joy that Christ died and he rose. And so we know the Holy Father will also rise with Christ.
What are some of the major landmarks and fond memories of the reign of the late Pope Francis now?
Well, many landmarks. First of all, specifically to Africa. I think he visited Africa almost 6 times, only not in Ghana. He visited Africa several times. That is significant. He also had a lot of sympathy and concern for migrants. You know, there are many Africans crossing the Mediterranean and getting locked in Lampedusa and other things. And the Pope really had a soft heart for migrants and really appealed that they be considered and accepted in all countries where they were found. He also declared a year of mercy when there were wars, misunderstandings here and there, to all world leaders to consider ending this conflict He even had an World Economic Forum for richer states to consider and have a new view of business, of economics, that they are there to serve the people and not just economics is there and business is there to serve interests of people and not just to accumulate profit. The Pope was also had a lot of teachings on the family as the unit of society, and had teachings for the church and all the world to consider the problem that families meet and to correct this. He issued a document on the environment called Laudato Si. He issued documents on the need for the world to come together in what we call the Fratelli Tutti, a document that we are all brothers. It goes on and on, but perhaps underpinning all of this is his servant leadership, his humility, genuine aster, not just titles, but the translation of titles and positions of honor into service of other people. These are some aspects of his leadership.
I see, and great detail that you give to us. But for us here in Ghana, and for you, the Catholic Bishops' Conference Ghana, what are the activities you have outlined to honor his memory? Maybe briefly.
Yes, usually when the Pope passes away like that, every bishop in his diocese will have some memorial mass. And he will also instruct the priest in his diocese, religious houses, all of these. He is our leader, and we have to pray for him. Then there is a plan also for us to have a national, that means all the Catholic Church coming together in the very near one of these few days for us to meet and also offer memorial mass for the Pope.
I see. And I see also that all Catholic institutions, schools and organizations are also requested to fly the Vatican flag at half mast.
Exactly. As part of our way of mourning the Holy Father. All these institutions that are Catholic, everything comes under the Pope and his instructions. So our leader has passed away, and we must see it as such and pray for the repose of his soul with prayers and any other actions that we think worthy to show our respect and our honor for the Holy Father.
And this is until the burial of the Pope?
Yes, usually within 9 days, the Pope will be buried.
Within 9 days? From today?
Yes, from 9 days from today. Maximum 10 days, probably 9 days. And the 9 days, you have a novena. That means 9 days of prayer. And at the end of the 9 days, then the burial will take place.
And already, it's an unavoidable conversation, is it not, about who is going to be the next Pope. And already some names have come up. And for us here in Ghana, the interest is quite clear. Again, Colonel Peter Appiah-Texan's name, that's Cardinal Peter Appiah-Texan's name, has come up again for consideration. For you, the Catholic Bishops' Conference Ghana, do you have any interest in this conversation at all? And also the expectation of Cardinal Appiah-Texan being probably considered as the next Pope?
What happens is that every Catholic, and for that matter, every priest, every bishop, every cardinal prays at this supreme time for the Holy Spirit to elect for us another Pope. So there are prayers and masses that will be said all over these 9 days. And after the 9 days, during the conclave, prayers will be prayed all over the world repeatedly. Now, what we pray is that the Holy Spirit gives us a leader, a spiritual leader, to guide the Catholic Church. Now, ours is not exactly like what politics does. So, when the cardinals meet, then the whole church praying with and for them, they also consider this assignment very, very seriously. So they consider very carefully who can lead the church at this particular time. Now, if they go in there and Cardinal Texan happens to be whom they consider to be worthy of it, good, so much the better. But we are not in Ghana here praying for, say, only Cardinal Texan. We are praying for all cardinals, indeed all priests, all bishops, the whole church. The Holy Spirit can choose anybody from anywhere who he thinks will be the best leader at this time for the church.
And Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, I thank you so much and for making the time to even talk to us, walk us through the process and what to expect in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi is president of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference and giving us that detail there. But then again, he touched on a number of things. What happens after a pope dies? As we see there, the pope's office and private apartments will be sealed and the papal fisherman's ring removed from his finger and broken with a hammer. So that ring you see the pope wear would have to be destroyed as part of the process. The body of the pope will be then dressed in red robes with a white mitre on his head, and also he will be taken to St. Peter's Basilica. And who could be the next pope? Well, this is the question that a number of persons outside of this country already pontificating. But then again, this is the process. This is what's going to happen. As of January 2025, there are 252 cardinals. 137 of them are eligible to vote in the election of the new leader of the Catholic Church, the next pope. 137 of them are going to vote. While cardinals are appointed for life, voting eligibility ends at age 80. So the new pope will be the 267th pontiff. And these are some of the persons who have come up as likely successors to the late Pope Francis. Cardinal Peter Edo, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, all both from Italy, and Cardinal Peter Texan from Ghana. See Cardinal Louis Stangl, Cardinal Mario Rech, and Cardinal Matteo Zuppi all in there as possible considerations. So the process eventually will see either the voting taking place, the ballot papers will be bent, and so if there's a black smoke, it means the pope has not been chosen. If there's a white smoke, then it means the pope has been chosen, and eventually the acceptance will have to be made. We'll see how the coming days will look like on this. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. There's a lot more.
Well, the short-term vision, you get some gold now, or whatever you get, and then what happens to your children who come? They come living in barren land. Ghana was not a barren land. Why should we make it a barren land for, unless we do not believe in the future? But if we have children now, then we necessarily must believe in the future tomorrow when they are future. And you cannot leave them a wilderness when you got a place as a garden.
But the blame has largely been put at the doorstep of the government. Do you agree with that?
You know, I have not had the data to put at the doorsteps, but the government, in the sense that it has got the general oversight of the country. So if something is happening in the country which is not conducive to the well-being of the country, that the government should say stop or control that. In that sense, right? In that sense of having this, we have an executive presidency.
Cardinal Peter Appiah Turkson, one of a number of cardinals being considered as the next pope, in his most recent interview with Kemini Amano on hot issues. You can find a full complement of that interview on TV3 Ghana on YouTube, so you can just look out for that. But coming up next, before we go quickly, proliferation of small arms, particularly small arms and light weapons, is one that has become a major matter in this country, and that's what we're going to get into right now. And Richard Kumado is joining us on the telephone right now. Mr. Kumado, thank you for joining us. There's been a number of arrests and also these reports of the Ghana Armed Forces, for instance, today, in its efforts to assist civil authorities remain and ensure some law and order in Boko, led to the retrieval of some very sophisticated firearms. This matter of the proliferation of small arms is becoming a concern. Do you think that we have found a way to, as it were, stem the tide as we're speaking now?
No, definitely not. To the extent that tomorrow, ECOWAS is launching the 50th anniversary, I would have been thinking that would have featured predominantly by one of the speakers, or my brother Adam Bona, who has the small arms, would be given opportunity to speak within. And at that level, once the whole West Africa region is characterized by movements of many of these arms and many of the crime-invested activities we are talking about, it would have helped at that level. Secondly, after the launch of the ECOWAS 50th celebration anniversary, I would love my brother Adam Bona to speak with the president for sort of a summit to be held, to be given a high-level powered government influence. And with that backing, it will help the region to deal with many of these things we are talking about. Other than that, it's a major issue, and it's one particular area we'll not be able to deal with as effectively as possible.
Now, what specific interventions are you expecting, at least in these conflict-prone areas?
Now, there has to be a strategy where dialogue among countries is key, communication is key, because it looks clearly to us in the investigative environment that these are cross-border crimes, and these are well-organized crimes, and people behind it might always go behind to vanish from the scene. To that extent, investigators in the front line would need to work a little bit deeper to arrest the core people, the big ones who are moving these arms, and they are not just moving these arms from one country to the other, but they might also be dealing with some other stuff that got to do with the purchase of arms. Considering the fact that even in this country, there are people whose legitimate business is importation of arms, we will need to look at the due diligence aspect of that particular business, and we will need to look at, it has always been the issue about legitimacy and approval and people who have the capacity to move some of these arms. I think governments across West Africa region would...
Right. Okay. Indeed. Mr. Commodore, appreciate your time on this matter, and I thank you very much. There's going to be a lot more on this in the coming days because this is a threat that we're all faced with. Thank you. There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Join us same time tomorrow for another conversation. My name is Alfred Ocanaey. Have a good night.
And tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.